What's up everyone and welcome back to the MMA Zone. Today, let's get started with Justin Gaethje wanted to fight Arman Tsarukyan or Charles Oliveira at UFC 313. Justin Gaethje is set to throw down with Rafael Fiziev in a highly anticipated rematch at UFC 313. But according to Gaethje, after Dan Hooker pulled out of their scheduled scrap, he was hoping to either fight Arman Tsarukyan or run things back with Charles Oliveira. And before we continue, make sure to leave a like on the video to help support the channel. Justin Gaethje caught up with Pavel Vrobek for Polsat Sport. Before we dive into the interview, we want to give a major shout out to Pavel for allowing us to include snippets from his interview in today's video. Make sure to check out his page in the description below.
Fiziev, I never heard Gamrot. I think, the UFC trying to make a replacement for Dan Hooker, they never considered Gamrot. That's a very different fight, different night. But I think for me, off the top of the list was Oliveira and Tsarukyan, because those are the guys that are ranked ahead of me, the number one, number two contenders, and they're the guys that if I get a win over them, I get to go exactly where I want to go, and that's fight Makhachev. Moicano said he would fight, and then after that, being that I'm getting ready for a fight, I have to say yes to anybody, and this being me being the number 3 guy in the world, it's a big business, and I had to really rely on my coach and my manager to make that decision for me.
Gaethje also talked about the short notice rematch with Fiziev, which has been booked for 3 rounds given that Fiziev is stepping in on short notice.
Expect an exciting fight, absolutely. He's world class on his feet, striking. He's very dangerous. So I think I need to be on point. I think it's going to be an exciting fight. I think I'm going to get another bonus, and I think he's going to be, I think coming off of a loss and then blowing his knee in the Gamrot fight, I think he's as hungry as ever, and I think he's going to be very dangerous, and I think it's going to be very exciting.
While the UFC already has a fight between Gaethje and Fiziev booked, and Charles Oliveira is traveling with his family, the former champion made it clear that the UFC could have called him, posting, "I'm just a phone call away, Dana White, Sean Shelby." If Gaethje winds up getting the win next weekend, he has his sights set on fighting Islam Makhachev. When speaking to Jim Rome, Justin said that timing is everything in the UFC, and there's a possibility that a win over Fiziev could result in a fight with Makhachev next.
Timing is everything in this sport. We saw with Dustin Poirier, I beat him and then he fought for the belt right after that. And I think the timing is going to line up well. I go in there, get a finish, with an outstanding performance like I always do. I think I'll be one of the guys that they consider, to fight Makhachev.
Would you be interested in a Justin Gaethje versus Islam Makhachev title fight? Makhachev has expressed interest in the fight before, so this could be a reality. Michael Chandler sends a warning to Paddy Pimblett. After dropping back-to-back losses to Dustin Poirier and Charles Oliveira, Michael Chandler's ready to take things out on Paddy Pimblett at UFC 314. During an interview with MMA Fighting's Damon Martin this week, Chandler spoke about his recent loss to Oliveira, saying that although he's not big on excuses, he knows what went wrong in his last fight. Because of that, he had a warning for Paddy Pimblett ahead of their fight in April. "I've got to take it out on Paddy Pimblett, but somebody was going to get it taken out on their face and their body and their soul months after that loss, because that was a very painful one." As Chandler went on to reveal, after his loss to Oliveira, which could have put him in a position for a title fight, he told his wife that he wasn't sure if he would ever fight again. Now, with his fire back and a fight with an up-and-comer and Pimblett right around the corner, Chandler's looking to get back in the win column in a big way. Arman Tsarukyan talks about back injury and Dan Hooker goes off. Arman Tsarukyan was just days away from throwing down with Islam Makhachev in a highly anticipated rematch at UFC 311 before a back injury forced him off the card at the last moment. Because of the short notice withdrawal, Dana White made it pretty clear that if Tsarukyan wants to fight for the belt, he'll have to earn it again. Now, Tsarukyan is making sure that he doesn't pull out of another fight due to back issues. Arman has gone to work on rehabbing his back so that it's, quote, strong as concrete and doesn't fail him again. During a video for his YouTube channel, Tsarukyan gave an update on the back injury, while opening up on what he's been doing to get back to 100%. According to the translated captions, Tsarukyan explained, "My back doesn't bother me anymore, but we're still doing some core exercises to put some muscle back. I take care of my back before and after training sessions to make it strong as concrete so that it won't let me down ever again. I found a really good specialist who is now taking care of my back. He is a very knowledgeable guy. Within the last couple of weeks, he has really helped me to recover, so as I said, today I've had my first full training day." After Dan Hooker's withdrawal from UFC 313, Arman Tsarukyan and Dan Hooker went back and forth on social media. Last night, Dan Hooker continued to go off on Arman, who took shots at Hooker from pulling out. Dan Hooker wasted no time and fired back at Arman last night for pulling out. Dan Hooker tweeted, "I broke my hand preparing for a fight. You hurt your back creeping on Nina Drama." He followed it up with, "We are not the same. What are your thoughts on Arman Tsarukyan and Dan Hooker's exchange? Let us know down in the comment section below. Kamaru Usman believes JDM will beat Belal Muhammad. There's certainly no love lost between Kamaru Usman and Belal Muhammad, with the two welterweights going back and forth and throwing verbal jabs at one another for months now. Heck, there's an unreleased podcast where Belal Muhammad claims he made Kamaru Usman emotional. With Belal gearing up for his upcoming fight against Jack Della Maddalena, ahead of the fight, Usman's confident that JDM has a pretty good chance of getting the win and capturing UFC gold. During the latest episode of he and Henry Cejudo's Pound for Pound podcast, he explained why, citing his indomitable spirit as one of the big reasons he believes he can get the W. JDM is a sleeper. I've seen him fight, and one thing about him is he's so relaxed to where it's very hard to beat him. I don't mean just win the fight, it's very hard to discourage him from trying. There are some guys you can take down 50 million times, and they're still going to keep trying to get up. Although Usman is confident that JDM has what it takes to get the job done, he's sitting as a pretty comfortable betting underdog right now on most major sportsbooks. Do you think Kamaru Usman thinks JDM will win because of the feud between him and Belal? If JDM is able to get the win, he could wind up fighting Islam Makhachev. As Ariel Helwani has theorized, Islam could move up to pursue a second title if Belal Muhammad loses the belt. Jamahal Hill talks about Khalil Rountree fight. Jamahal Hill might be on a 2-fight losing streak, but he's eager to get back in the win column when he fights Khalil Rountree in April. After being finished by Alex Pereira last April and Yuri Prochazka this January, Sweet Dreams is confident that he'll be able to right the ship and pick up a big win over Rountree on the Fight Night Kansas City card. During a new video for his YouTube channel, Hill spoke about the fight, which had originally been scheduled for the UFC 303 card in June, saying that although this is a quick turnaround for him, he's only fought twice over the last 2 years, and he needs to be more active. Before jumping into the video, make sure to check out Jamahal Hill's YouTube channel for the full video, and to also subscribe because he routinely drops content for fight fans.
All right, that last fight, I wasn't able to get comfortable. I wasn't comfortable. I didn't feel the routine. I didn't get into my normal flow, and it didn't feel like it should. And I think part of that was the fact of how long I've been inactive and how long it's been stretched in between. I need to get back active. You know, I'm gonna take care of the things that I didn't take care of for as far as like, you know what I mean, health and things like that. But I feel this is plenty of time. It's right on track for when I would want to see myself back in there. So yeah, I'm gonna go in there and I'm gonna do my thing. Khalil hasn't cracked into that top upper echelon. He's looking to do that now against me, and it's my job to show that, you know what I mean, this is my spot.
With Alex Pereira set to fight Magomed Ankalaev and guys like Jamahal Hill, Yuri Prochazka, Khalil Rountree, and Jan Blachowicz all looking to get back in the mix for a crack at the belt, it's safe to say that it's an exciting time at 205. UFC updates. Heading into this weekend's Fight Night card at the Apex, let's take a look at today's UFC fight updates, starting with a fight between Chito Vera and Mario Bautista, set for the Des Moines card in May. Chito's coming off a unanimous decision loss to Davison Figueiredo, which made it 2 losses in a row for the fan favorite, while Bautista is in the midst of a 7-fight winning streak that most recently saw him pick up a controversial decision victory over Jose Aldo. We've also got a new addition to the UFC Qatar card in May, with Sergey Spivak and Shamil Gaziev set to throw down. The fight will see Spivak look to bounce back from a first-round loss to Jailton Almeida back in January, while Gaziev looks to build on a 2-fight winning streak. Now let's shift gears and take a look at some UFC roster updates following what appears to be the latest round of releases. According to the automated UFC roster watch account, Julio Arce, Josh Culibao, Taylor Lapidus, Jonathan Pierce, Cody Stamann, and Matthew Semmelsberger have all been removed from the UFC's roster. While these fighters have been removed from the roster, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're done with the UFC for good. They may have simply fought out their contracts or are testing the waters in free agency. Fighters like Lapidus and Arce have been removed despite wins in their recent fights. However, in the case of Arce, he did miss weight for his last fight despite getting the win. Other fighters like Matthew Semmelsberger, Cody Stamann, and Josh Culibao may not be coming off wins, but based on the reactions from fans, if this is the end of the road, they're sad to see them go, given their exciting fighting styles. Dana White is finalizing his new boxing league. Dana White's been talking about Zuffa Boxing for years now, and according to the UFC's parent company, TKO, they're closing in on a deal to launch an all-new boxing league any day now. The organization would be run by White, but with the financial backing of Turki Al-Sheikh and Saudi Arabia. The fights will be produced and promoted by TKO. However, as White said way back in 2019, he isn't a big fan of UFC fighters potentially crossing over to box. Assuming his stance hasn't changed, don't expect UFC fighters to cross over to TKO Boxing. During a recent earnings call, TKO COO Mark Shapiro shed more light on the endeavor, which he says comes with no financial risk to the company. Everybody knows we're in talks with the Saudis, but to give you a little more color, I will tell you we are close on an agreement with the Saudis on the creation of a boxing league where we, TKO, would be the producer, the promoter, and responsible for all day-to-day operations of the venture, whereby we would receive a fee of $10 million plus. So far, details are scarce. However, 4 super fights are already planned for 2025 and 2026. Once the two sides close the deal, expect some big fight announcements to follow. Dana White cancels fight last minute. According to reports, this weekend's card has taken a hit with the fight being canceled during weigh-ins. Luana Carolina has pulled out of her fight against Montana De La Rosa, and the fight is now canceled. Luana Carolina pulled out due to weight management issues, which was confirmed by the UFC. It's important to note that Carolina has already missed weight twice before in the UFC. Once she missed weight in 2021 by 2.5 pounds against Poliana Botelho, and she missed weight again last year against Juliana Stoliarenko by a shocking 3 pounds over the limit. This is now her 3rd time in the UFC missing weight. Do you think the UFC will let her go? Let us know down in the comment section below. Conor McGregor reveals shocking UFC payday. Conor McGregor revealed that he made more in his last UFC fight than the entire Bivol vs. Better Beef card. He responded to a tweet showing off the fight purse, which included more than $32 million in payouts, by writing, "If accurate, I made more than this entire card's estimated payout combined in my last outing for the UFC 2021. I garnered record gate as well as record pay-per-views for the company through my service." Do you think that Conor really made more than all those boxers combined? Also, check out our newest video breaking down the rise and fall of Conor McGregor's career on our other channel.